It is pointless to resist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Starlight Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 262, being recorded on June 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here.
So many numbers to remember. What's up, nerds?
It is. It's outrageous. Grand Admiral Franz is here.
Hi.
More pops behind him. Look at that collection. Wow.
It's growing. It's dumb. And I've got a whole bunch more.
That's a great shirt. It's growing. It's because that can mean so many things.
Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna use that tonight. Hey, babe.
I mean, you know,
I can't help it. It's growing. It's dumb. I don't know.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about today because we are in the era of the Acolyte.
And we have notes.
So I want everybody in the pit to put their Acolyte caps on. If you haven't seen it, we're going to be spoiling the hell out of it, the first two episodes of everything. So get your opinions in. I actually want to hear what everybody's thoughts were with this time frame going forward. But before we get into all that good stuff, we've got to shout out our Shadow Council and everybody who's being digested in the pit. So that's you, Scott.
Julian Fernie's comment there. Freaking sacrilegious to say the pop collection is dumb. Off to the corner you go.
Hey, if you have one, you could say it, right? I mean, that's their. It's your guys' words. It's your words. You can say it because you're in it.
All right. Well,
I did say it.
All right. Special shout out to all of our Shadow Council members. That's AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Cook, Crystal E., Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, which I joined last night for a talk about the Cure. So
nice.
If you like the Cure, feel free to join in. Probably that's only Gavin will listen back to it out of this group. I don't know. Justin the Vanilla, I can't even say vanilla. Justin the Vanilla, I can't say vanilla. What the hell? Vanilla Thunder. Wow. AKA Luke, AKA Love Collects, Mervine Polanos. I'm going to stop talking. Matt Logic, Nicholas Schaefer, Papa Schmitty, Ryan, and the Star Joe's podcast. Really appreciate every one of you. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this, especially, video on StreamYard. We used to do it. Trust me, we used to do this audio only, and we were terrible.
Yeah.
But now we're here on video, and we are wonderful.
And now we're just a little less terrible. All right.
That's right. We're not as good as we think we are, but we're better than most. So scan that QR code right there, and please donate a couple bucks. It really does help. Or if you feel so inclined, we do have the super chat offer there for you. We're also talking about memberships lately. We're in the works, working on some membership stuff.
Got some cool things.
Some fun little drawings and stuff that you guys will be able to utilize. So it's all good in the hood. So without further ado, let's say hi to Julianne Ferdy. That's Janobi. What is up? We've got Rhino Hobbies. I figure if I say all these things a little slower, maybe I can make them not sound. Maybe I can sound better. Don, Dad Dorn's in there.
He woke up and just in time for today's show.
That was me. I literally just woke up.
Yeah.
I really wish. Matt Logic. What's up, Matt Logic? We got Bootleg Joe.
Everybody wave at Boot. Drive home safe, man.
Be safe, buddy. We've got Mando Mike.
Yes, there is a senior discount given here. Scan that QR code, Mike, and find out. Oh,
yeah. Gordon Skalski's in here. What's up, Gordon? We've got Gavin Connor in here. Oh, did I miss one?
Commander Bly.
Commander Bly.
Oh, and Gavin Connor. Yes,
Gavin Connor. There he is.
Ooh, here we go.
Hey guys,
what's wrong with you, man? Jeez. So. And anybody else that's in there, if you want to stop in, say hello, we'll give you a shout out. So welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Right. Yep. All right, guys. Well, the time is here. Last week we kind of like regrouped and then try to get our heads around it. And then yesterday at 6:00 Pacific time, most everybody indulged in the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte. So with that out of the way now, it's here. There's no looking back. So what are our thoughts? What are our reactions to it? Let's give it a grade. Let's talk about the world's reaction to this highly anticipated, semi-controversial thing going forward. Are we off to a good start? So,
I think for the first 2 episodes, you got to think this is how many episodes are in this season? It's 8 episodes.
8.
8. Okay. So you're not going to get answers or anything like that in the first 2, but you had one hell of a setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start off with a bang, and by the end of it, it has me questioning just what did the Jedi do? I mean, it really has. Yeah. It has a lot of questions up there that I am very intrigued by. Otherwise, I found just the 2 episodes very whelming. They weren't underwhelming. They weren't overwhelming. They were just there. They were enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Some characters I really dig. Some characters I'm like, ugh. But overall, I give it a solid. It's a C plus B minus.
Okay,
it's more like a B minus B, like a solid B minus. Yeah.
All right, Chris.
I enjoyed the heck out of it. I didn't expect to. I was worried. I have a lot of
You were worried. My phone lit up.
I have a lot of worries, on this.
Yeah.
I'm one of those fans that sees what goes on with these, right? I see
Sure.
I see the overcorrection in casting. I see the overcorrection in diversity. It took me, I see it, but once I get past it, right, which took me just a second because it's a good show. Once I get past it, totally cool, right? Totally cool. I'm like, all right, fine. The cast, as long as the cast is cool, I'm cool, and I'm digging everybody minus 2 characters. I think some acting is wooden. It's only 2, and one of them is only for a second. The other one just keeps popping up and will. You take those people out, and everybody else is cool, man. Everybody else, I like the plot. I love the visuals, except the last scene in episode 2. I think that looked hokey as hell. I think that looked like we were going to see a Slee Stack type of thing pop out, right? The jungle scene looked really bad.
Oh, okay. It looked animated.
It looks different. I think everybody complaining about the stuff must have their settings on their TV too high, right? Because or whatever, the refresh rate, something's up because I think it looked theatrical for most of it until
until that scene. Okay.
Until then.
I think with people complaining about like visuals, I think maybe they're complaining about the costumes because we're not used to seeing Jedi wearing white cloaks and different colors, right? We're always used to seeing Jedi look exactly the same, like little cookie cutter versions of
a lot of them
robes.
were talking about the scenery and how cheap it was put together because of the budget and this and that. I don't see that. I don't see that. I can get some of the robe stuff because Saul's there's a point where Saul and May are about to get at it in the middle of the street, and when he turns around, like you can see through his robe. I'm like, he's got the
really
off the rack. It's like he didn't get a proper cloak. He went and got a cosplay cloak. It's cosplay cloaks are thicker. Mine's thicker. You can't see through mine. Right. I'm like, what's this dude? Well, I'll take that back. I have 2. One that came in the Halloween one that you get like at the store. When
right,
and then one you get for cosplay. That's the kit. Yeah. So that was really that part was odd, but I mean that's just I actually sat there and thought to myself, well, they could have thick coats for when they're in the snow, and they could have lighter coats for the summer. I'm all,
sure. You start to headcanon your way around.
There you go.
Not everybody has to have the same robe. That's lame. Right. Then I realized all the tunics are different. Like Yord, right? He's got like 3 layers on his shit. He's all tied up. Where everybody's just a little bit different. The belts are different. I like it. I like that part. I'm totally cool with that, and I like that they have white for the on Coruscant, right? Yeah. And brown when they go to action. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, all that's fine. I really have no. I mean, I got a couple of complaints, but they're small, man. It's nitpicky.
Yeah, but okay, all right, yeah. I think I'm right there with both of you on the as far as like the feelings of what we witnessed and what we got. I was more into after my second watch through. I mean, I was really zoned in on the story, like really zoned in on where this is going, because it was like there was really no answers and more questions, but got some answers, but then there are obviously more questions, but it was a progressive linear story, not this like confusing bit, because like Scott said, what do these Jedi do to deserve this type of action? The Acolyte, is there more? There's so many cool things. Like it's starting off with this little incident, and it's becoming like a bubble that's going to be blown up in the Jedi faces, and we all know where that leads. And so I found myself more into, like I said, the story and following along with the dialogue and everything that's going along with it. I was actually very satisfied with the aesthetics and what we got. I felt the Star Wars world was very well represented in a way, not the way that we didn't see familiar characters besides Nemodians and stuff like that. But the aliens that we did get, I thought they were fantastic. Like I bought it. Like I really bought into that Star Wars. Every setting to me was like the ship that she was in. Everything was like that. We're in Star Wars. We're living in this world. Is so cool.
And it made it, even when she was on the ship, it made it cool because they used some prequel music sounds. Yeah, right. Like it really put me into a place where it felt like Star Wars. I'm that's a Star Wars.
It did, man.
Star Wars sound. It really worked.
It did, and it for me it did, and it didn't. Right. The aliens looked incredible. The sound was great. The effects looked really good. The aliens looked great, but again, we were back in the sequel times where we didn't see any real familiar aliens other than the Nemoidians, right?
But they worked in the like they worked as part of Star Wars, right? Like that. What I was getting is like the aliens that we got. Yeah, they're not familiar, but they almost seem familiar to us. It's like did I see that before?
Like
with
the look, the feel,
aliens
the way they were made, everything seemed to jive, right? And in the original trilogy, each movie you get a few different new aliens, right? You don't see the same repeated ones. So that's kind of how I took that. Now, mind you, there's no Rhodians, there's no Twi'leks, there's no
right.
There's hardly any white guys. You know, I mean, that's just how it is. They have less of the stuff we were used to, but I love the new aliens. I love them.
I did too.
The new aliens,
the barkeep.
Yeah,
the barkeep was great. They all looked really good. It's just it's weird that we go from a certain number of aliens in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and then we go into the sequel trilogy and you saw none of the original aliens at all. Then you go back to Ahsoka and you go back to all these other live action shows. You start recognizing the aliens again. And here we are in the distant past, or not so distant past, but the past. And we're back to not recognizing any of the aliens. That being said, they did look very Star Warsy.
They felt like they belonged in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah. I kind of, and I don't know if I need to start headcanoning it already. I mean, do all these worlds already have intergalactic travel? Can they get can Rhodians be here? Can this, I mean, it's only 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So
I would think
it was just weird.
Yeah. It was just
I think we'll get some more familiar stuff, but I again, like with the sequel aliens, it just didn't. We looked at the Canto Bight, and I didn't buy it. I didn't buy into like these were Star Wars world. It was, and I'm going to say it reminded me very Trekkie kind of aliens, like too humanoid, too like just weird. But these aliens were so like built for Star Wars that it was kind of refreshing
at Disneyland in Batu, and I'd be totally cool with these aliens.
Yeah, it was refreshing not to see a Rhodian or a Twi'lek, abundance of them, a Koran, like a whole bunch of like Boba Fett really overdid.
Oh yeah, you kidding me? That's all that lived on Tatooine, where Quarren or Rhodian,
Aquila, yes, exactly,
Aquilish, yeah.
But overall, I'm there with you guys as far as like a solid B for like this opening. I don't really have this kind of like, oh God, this is so important. It's gonna, if they don't get this right, it's gonna ruin stuff like we did with Ahsoka and Mando because it's too close to the home. So this was a very good sit back and wait or watch, and I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not groundbreaking, not yet anyway. And there is some that were it was kind of a sludge a little bit to kind of like, all right, I know where this is going. Can we just do it and get there? But at the same time, this is a murder mystery, and it really played like one. I could really played like one. And by far, Soul is the best actor in this damn thing. He's awesome.
It's neat. My wife just watched it with me, right? And I'm telling her it's a murder mystery. Then I'm all, well, we know who murdered everybody.
I'm
like, that's not what it is, but it's the other story, the Jedi. It's mystery that's coming up.
What did they do?
Right. And honestly, there is. I will get to it on your guys' I wasn't thinking about the. Well, I'm not doing it. I didn't think that these girls were Night Sisters or whatever sisters. They're not Night Sisters. They're
witches.
Right. Until Marco, you mentioned that line about your mother's died.
Right.
So I didn't catch that the first time. Caught it the second and third time, right? But I'm like, it's Mother's. It's definitely going to be her. Well, I would think, but it could also be like Mother Talzin. One of those characters' name is Mother something,
right?
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So the Jedi basically taking out the whole.
Clan. Hey, we'll get. We're gonna get into that in a sec here.
That's probably it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there at all at first. I wasn't even thinking they were, but now that after the Mother's comment put me right there, and I'm like, and then. Then even in that first scene, and after watching it again, the third time I noticed it, she said, Carrie-Anne Moss, right, Indira, she says, Jedi don't attack the unarmed. And her response was, do you remember what her so yes, you do.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, exactly. That is it. There's an attack, not an accident, not some bullshit. It's an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into like the depths of it, I'm going to check in with the pit real fast just to catch us all up. And then we're going to get into some really cool things because I got goosebumps just on that, what you just said, because I want to get into these 4 Jedi. You know what I mean? What's their role in this whole thing? There's some cool stuff going on. So Santo 1414 is checking in. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. We've also got I think, was that it? Oh,
Those are the news. Yeah.
And Obi-Wan Chingones.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, the visuals were great. Aliens in costume, solid B. Commander Bly is saying everything else earned a C. Okay. Commander. Well, as we get into it, I want to know more about, like, is that a good thing for your expectations, or like overall being the first 2 episodes? Let's see. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I like the details of several new alien species. Look like Star Wars. That's what I'm saying. Like, I got that there wasn't familiar stuff, but the things we got were kind of familiar, but they weren't.
Yeah, exactly. I knew what it was, but it wasn't the same. Yeah, right. But I knew what it was. If you put that alien just on TV, I'm all, oh, we got a Star Wars show coming.
Yeah,
that's how I would have saw it, and that's which is great.
Rhino Hobbies. I watched it with a negative mind, hated it. Watched it again with the devil's lettuce, and liked it better.
I don't know why you watched it the first time without. Yeah.
Is that what it takes? All right. Okay. Well, I was telling the guys this before. It's like, my first time always watching any Star Wars, like live action, there's a critical blinders on me at first. Like I'll write down certain things like, oh wait, that's not jiving, or I don't like this. But then my second viewing, I really tend to it kind of like, well, that didn't bother me as much as it should have the second time. If it really did, then I will make a mental note and be like, oh, I got to talk to the guys about this.
Yeah. I'm the exact opposite. I always watch and just kind of dive into it at first. And then the second time I watch it, I usually overanalyze it all.
My viewings get better as far as like my quality of enjoyment.
My first time watching it, I'm usually, not this time, I'm usually too busy thinking about it to enjoy it. Right. The same with the movies. That's why I always got to go back to, I'm too busy figuring where is it going to go. I'm trying to think it through. This time I didn't do that as much. So I didn't have any notes the first time. Second time I didn't think at all, but I knew where it was going. So I got to just enjoy it. The third time I was taking notes and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Then there's some key points to talk it out, right? Like either bring it up and be like, look, I'm throwing this out there because this is not jiving well, or maybe we.
And they're just dumb things, but it's like, why was this decision made?
Yeah. It could.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example of something stupid, right? That girl that goes to the Jedi Temple on what's it called?
Olega.
Okay. Olega. She has that girl come up and get the droid to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the door droid.
Yeah.
She has to do this to have it come out. And then she throws the thing on the lid.
Need to do anything.
And then it closes up to exactly where it would have been.
Yeah.
And then it opens. Why couldn't she just go up there and put the thing on it?
Maybe because everything in Star Wars is recorded. Everything is recorded, right? Like no matter what. So if they were to play it back, they wouldn't have seen her at all. Just a girl,
But she still would have seen her regardless. And then they still had her as a witness. Everything. That was what it was. So somebody could eyeball her. They did it for a point in the show.
It was a plot point. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But at the same time, I'm like, that was a dumb move because that was unnecessary. Do something different is all. If you have to do something to make it work, I get it. If you wanted to find a way to get a witness, I get it.
Yeah.
That wasn't the move because it was just like,
the
third time, that's what I'm talking about with this dumb notes, right? But first and second time, I'm not thinking about that. By the third time, I'm looking at it, I'm all, well, that's dumb.
That was just over. It was like May trying to be over cautious about something that really didn't need to be.
No, it was Hedlund just needing to put in a plot point to give a witness, and they just skirted it right there. That's all, but it made its point. Like I said, it took my third watch to see it.
Yeah. Santo 1414 lightsaber fights are cool, but I like the hand-to-hand
combat. Yeah.
I do too. I thought it was refreshing, and I also thought it was very cool because that exactly was a plot point too. It was pointed out that the Jedi's only use their weapons to kill or to destroy, and if that's like the last resort. Where we saw in Clone Clone Wars, they just whipped that thing was out all the time. I mean, they were they were in war.
They were ready to kill.
I get it. Yeah. So
ready to kill.
Let's see. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, we were on many new planets, now so many new species, not Tatooine, and then back on Tatooine.
Putting the name of the planets is essential in every Star Wars.
I love it.
That's my first note. That's my first note right
Lord,
here.
Just keep doing
when I
that.
saw that, I was like, oh, Scott's gonna be happy because I was like, hell yeah. And I was happy too. I was like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
I
smartest thing
especially
they can do.
if you're going to start introducing all these new planets. That's where the other Star Wars TV shows have kind of fallen, right? I mean,
Yep.
we all talked about it, and that's what Rogue One did so well. They let you know where you were in the galaxy. And I don't remember, did they continue that with Andor?
No.
They did.
No.
Gosh, I don't think so.
I don't
Should
think
have. That would have been the.
I have to go
That
back
would
and
have been
see.
the
I
smart one
don't
to
think
do
they
it.
did.
Yeah. So having the names back on there, yeah, that made the very first thing I said whenever I saw it. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
They didn't do it in Kenobi, right?
No.
Okay. I was thinking Fortress Inquisitori. I thought that for some reason I had that in my head that they
Right.
showed that, and I don't.
No.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Gavin Connor is holding steady at a B. Different but cool. I like that. The different but cool.
Yeah.
A few look kind of stupid, but a lot of cool stuff. I like that they weren't dragging stuff out story wise. Yes and no, they weren't. Yes, they were dragging, and no, they weren't dragging. Because again, like we know the killer, they know the killer. Now they're trying to put two and two together. Like May was dead, May's not dead, and stuff. But at the same time, it's opening up a huge like story mystery going forward because it's not cut and dry. It's like okay, May's assassin. And she's killing Jedi, but there's a lot more to it. It's not just a black and white issue, which that's why I like that kind of thing. It's like every turn, it's opening up something different, something more, and that's how I'm getting it so far. We'll see where the rest of the series goes, but
it's funny we keep asking for non-sympathetic villains, and they gave us another sympathetic villain because the Jedi did something right now. In the background, we've got all this going on, and we know who the Acolyte is, right? I mean, it said it. May is the Acolyte, right? She's the Acolyte of
Acolyte. Yeah.
And is the key thing.
Right.
Yeah.
She is an Acolyte of whoever that is with the mask who showed up in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
We still have maybe that is our unsympathetic villain. Maybe that is the villain.
Yeah.
That is. I don't know. I've got some interesting thoughts about who.
Go ahead.
Well,
because I got one too.
Well, first off, we got Felipe checking in. This show has nothing to do with Skywalker from family.
Zero.
You are correct. This is we're going to show the timeline here in a minute, but this is 100 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. This is the Sith are still in
100 years before the rise of the Empire.
Oh, we said 130 years then, right? Like 130 ish.
No, it'd be less because it's from the fall of the Empire, so it's only like 87 years from Phantom Menace.
Oh, I don't know.
That's when they said today. We're putting a title up.
They did.
Yeah, it says from the rise of the Empire. So that's
here.
66.
I'll do this really quick. We'll go ahead and put up the crawl.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. Okay. From the rise of the Empire, right.
Yeah.
So take away 13 years, right? Between
the. So God damn it! Now I need to change the stupid.
It's close enough.
This is 100 years before episode 3. Okay.
Right.
Right.
100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge. Bum, bum, bum.
Revenge.
Yeah. Okay. Batu Bay's checking in.
Batu Bay.
Shame Trinity died, but at least we got her in the flashback. We get her in flashbacks.
Yeah, because we're definitely getting flashbacks because they also showed Torben. I've seen a picture of Torben with curly hair, like younger.
Oh, okay.
So we're getting the story.
We're gonna get the story
flashback.
Yeah. Gordon. Cool. I'm actually intrigued by the story. So it's definitely the best part of it for me.
Yeah,
same.
Absolutely.
He has a very Qui-Gon sensibility. Visuals are pretty solid. B for him so far. Him and the Padawan. I just love their dynamic. I didn't think I would like her. I forgot her name already.
Who?
I didn't.
Jackie.
His Padawan. Yeah.
Jackie. Yeah. I like Jackie too.
I don't know. Did so little but so much, and I loved it. I was like, I like their dynamic. I like him.
I like her a lot.
She put Yord in his place a few times because that guy was annoying as hell.
Put your clothes on.
Put your clothes on, Yord.
Yord was annoying until about the second half of the second episode, and then all of a sudden I'm all okay. Yord can do some shit. I'm good. I'm down with Yord now. The first the first episode, nope. I'm like, this guy's putt. And
Yeah.
by the end, okay.
It was whenever he followed Osha into the room and she found Torben dead, and whenever he stuck up for her, I'm like, okay, he doesn't have his head firmly lodged in his ass. He's not so
black
bad.
and white.
Well, he's a by the book kind of dude.
You know?
Just it in real fast. Diablo Cooling, check it in. He loves the Acolyte. It is a new age. Love the characters. Aliens, a story. I want more. That's a good.
Absolutely.
That's a good place to start.
Yep. I think the other Padawan, I noted that one. Tassi Loa, the Zygerian.
Showed up for 5 seconds.
Yord's Padawan.
Yeah.
That one, I get where they put it. She loves that species, right? But they're slavers too. That's right. That's Zygerians.
They are slavers.
She's the other. That's the other wooden acting. That one. My goodness, that one was only there for about 3 seconds because that one was horrible. Just couldn't even get the look right, like a stare. It was. I just didn't dig that. Same with Vanestra Rowe. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, every time Vanestra Rowe was on, I'm like, I'm done.
That bugged me because I like her character in the novels. I really do, because she's the young Padawan becoming a Jedi Knight in the novels, right? And I was really looking forward to this, and I feel like she either, and this is me just theory crafting and headcanoning this, I feel like she either helped orchestrate whatever the problem is that caused this issue with May and Osha. Mm-hmm. She's either behind it, a part of it, or just she's seen a lot of shit in her time.
I think she's just a different character.
I think she's just there and sucks. I think she's just the council, and she's. As much as I want this to be Yoda's fault, they're going to give her enough credit for.
I don't know why. Okay,
but she's the one hiding stuff.
I don't know why you want Yoda to be take the fall guy.
Because Yoda's in charge.
No, I don't know why.
If Yoda doesn't have
why you want it. I don't want it.
It has to be though. It has to be. It don't want it. It
doesn't have
to be.
Anyway, Juliana's going to trip me up right here. $20 super chat. She misses Dave Filoni. We all do. Even if he did have Sabine survive a lightsaber. Yeah, that was a bad choice. But I agree. I miss Dave Filoni. Okay, so but to continue on that, Chris, real fast, like it kind of like what we've got so far almost put me at ease a little bit, because this is like the Jedi are at peace, just like the crawl said, right? Or the little verbiage. This is a time of peace, and this is an isolated incident that doesn't involve the entire council just yet. It doesn't involve things that are just a little like.
And they are keeping it small.
They are keeping it small. Vernestra is in charge. Obviously, she does seem like a different person from the books to now, because
she's council. She's council right now.
Yeah.
Is she Grandmaster, or is she just on the council?
They haven't said. There's a master. So I just think she's a master on it for now. She put together a small council. So that
but she also said like keep this on the down low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what she said.
Yeah, she's like, we don't want our
group over here of council members. We'll talk here.
Right.
Well, not everybody, even just a few. That'll be Plo Koon in there, right? Just to get him in.
But
and then and then you guys keep your group low, and then we'll just keep it here. There's going to be a total of 8 people probably that know. I
did like the fact that they brought up, which was interesting also, political enemies. So the Jedi, even in this time, have political enemies, which is that's also kind of intriguing. It makes me want to know more about the state of the galaxy at this time. Why would the Jedi, that protect the defenders of peace in a peaceful era, have political enemies? It's
right. Well, intriguing. It could be stuff because, again, like even 100 years of the Senate doing their thing, right? There are probably still people in this that don't want the Jedi around. They don't want them as peace and guardians. They feel like they interfere too much, because they kind of, we've known this in the past where the Jedi will go to a planet and assert their authority and their ways of doing things, which a lot of people don't like. So you could say like the Senate himself and other systems could be political enemies, meaning like we just don't want to do anything to do with the Jedi. Yeah. And that's why when Dooku came out, that was so easy for a lot of planets to be like, yeah, we're done. We're separating. We're done with this. We're waiting this long to get to this point, So it kind of makes sense, because again, like, I mean, the Jedi are very pompous and very my way or the highway thing. If you don't like it, I mean, they really do interfere. And that's why there's a lot of that going around in Star Wars itself. There's that point of view, right? So, so you can kind of like understand where that could come from. But the Jedi playing politics, or her playing politics too, is a little bit like, I thought she was supposed to be like this noble leader and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing is we overplay the Jedi. We have it in our heads that they're all perfect and all this, and they're really not, right? They weren't in the prequel era. They're not here, obviously, because these 4 have done something pretty horrific.
Yeah,
and they're
not
hiding
the Clone
stuff,
Wars either.
and they're right. They're not, and they're just not. They're the what we kind of want to be. We want them to be superheroes. We want them to be perfect, and probably the galaxy does. But when it comes down to it, Jedi are just people too.
Yeah,
and they're going to have the same.
They're flawed, very flawed, and that's Yoda's life teaching in general, anyway. But anyway, you said something about her Vernestra acting in general, like the character itself.
Very, very wooden and
just like Rhino Hobbies
wonderful.
is bring up. The makeup seemed fine, but there was like a Star Trek level. It just, to me, it was like an emotionless.
Her face,
everything.
Look, I've been bitching about it for days. Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to say it this way,
and then I got a deal too.
I was worried about it because I know it's the director's wife,
yeah.
right? So I'm like, is she just giving her a gig? But I knew I was thinking that, so I'm like, let me give her
just getting her a gig, yeah.
Right. So I did say that. I knew that going in, so I really tried to be like, just be good, and I'll let it all go. Kind of like the show, right? I said, I see all the shit, I see it, but if it's good, I let it go, and I let it go.
Yeah.
But I get to her. And I'm like, here we go. I'm like, because I said yesterday, I hope she doesn't act and sound like she looks. And damned if she doesn't act and sound like she looks.
More.
And it just worse than she looks. And she looks pretty bad, honestly. I just can't, the effect on her face. Every picture you see is the same.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what Julie said that this afternoon. She's like, why won't she just look up? Why is she always looking down?
Every time.
It's annoying. Look at the tattoos on my head. You know,
it's lame. She's not adding anything now to the story, which is fine because she will later, I'm sure. But what she is just, I'm like, she takes me out of it for a minute. So I'm like, this is really bad.
The 2 minutes that we saw her, she was not good, and
just like Rick Jones saying, "Go ahead, Scott." But yeah, Green Ball Lady is shady.
Yeah, exactly. My problem with her is the same thing. She's very wooden. It reminds me a lot, and I know I get a lot of shit for this. I hate Mace Windu because Mace Windu is very stoic, and that's the best word for it, right? He's very non-emotional. He's very just. It's almost like he's reading his lines. Then again, that was the prequels. Most of them were just reading their lines. But it for me, I expected when you cast Samuel L. Jackson in the role of a Jedi. You're expecting a kick-ass Jedi who's not going to take any crap from anybody, who's going to, all right, let's go, but he was very stoic and that's what she reminded me of. Very stoic, very, very wooden, very emotionless. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, but the Jedi Masters, specifically old Jedi Masters, are Yoda not included, they're going to be more, they're going to have their emotions in check. They're going to be more, do what I say or do what I do. What's that saying? Do what I say. I don't know.
Not as I do.
Not as I do. Right. But it's very much old Jedi Master being very stoic, not showing emotion. It makes sense that way, but it doesn't make me like her any other.
But the thing was, she was talking about something emotional while not showing emotion. And that's what's stupid. She was in that little area with Saul, right? Yeah. And talking about, I remember when you were young, and like she was doing it in an emotional bit, but not having any, and that doesn't make any sense. She wouldn't even have that talk without showing it.
Because look at her counterpart.
She smiled though. She did smile, but icky. But it didn't. It didn't feel right. No,
right. See, and I can get your point about Mace Windu being stoic, but I know what his emotion was every time. Right. And I know when it changed, and I know when he was angry, and I know when he was worried, and I know all this. I could see Samuel Jackson through Mace Windu. I mean, you could see it, right? And I know if he's being cocky, if he's being whatever he was being with her. I'm like, God, this is so phony. I can't even fucking stand
phony. I'm tending to agree because the performance we got from Soul, it was night and day. Like he showed every emotion, like everything was like, even though he recognized I've learned from the past to not repeat the future or repeat the past and all that stuff. And then knowing about the emotions, he knows that I'm not supposed to have these talents, but everything was so on the dot. Then we went to her and she's like, scowling, looking, doing the Clockwork Orange stare, you know what I mean? And I'm hoping it gets better. because there
With
are
her,
going to be, she's going to get into the mix of this. She's going to get into the action of this.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that bit about the doom to repeat it.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. That was actually one of my nitpicks. That's an Earth thing. That was don't use an Earth saying. It's okay when you use the words. When you use horse and shit like that, I figure there's not you. I just mean the show.
No, I get it.
The show used that, and I'm like, wait, that's really a earthly quote to be used, and that's like quoting somebody, right? There were two things in there. That saying, the doom to repeat it. That's literally one of our sayings. That's one of our sayings, and that's taking it over there. You have to word it different. You have to word it completely different.
Like Yoda did in The Last Jedi, right? We are what we
something like that.
Failure. Learn from the failure. It's all about failure.
Failure. Yeah.
But not the same exact words we use. It doesn't make sense. And the other word they use,
the same lesson. It's the same lesson.
Yeah, say it the way Yoda said it, but just don't say it the way
Yoda
say it to my kid.
Like that would have been cool. Like
that would have been cool.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
The other thing was a weird word to me. I know this is all dumb nitpicking, right? And it was the third time watching. Did she just say she needed a paycheck? She did. She said I needed a paycheck. That's why I'm doing it. When she was talking to Jackie, and she says something. So why are you doing this? Why are you being a mech tech or whatever?
Oh, mechanic. Yeah.
She's like, well, Jedi skills aren't transferable. I needed a paycheck.
Yeah.
They have checks.
Yeah. I need
Star
the credit.
Wars, that was my. No, you need to get paid. You need credits. You need
the credits.
You need something. But paycheck was again. We forgot where we are right now. I did too the first time, maybe two times. But I'm like, no, you can't use paycheck. That's just dumb. I've used dumb a lot because there's a lot of dumb things in this. But take those things out, right? These are just small nitpicks.
They're very. Yeah, you're right. They're one of those things.
There's nothing there, but it's a third watch type of nitpick.
I got you.
You know. Check that one off my list.
Mr. Ortega checking
in.
Green bald lady. I fear. You know where the fear leads to. Yeah. Let's turn our gears into the 4 Jedi. Let's turn. Okay, this is so much. Okay, there's 4 Jedi who are with May, and the twins. That we found out there were twins. So
Osha, by the way, is the wildest name to use. I mean, like it's
seriously.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for some regulations to be broken, and
Oh shit! Yeah,
I want to see somebody leaning off a ladder. And her be like, "Hey, careful." Here's OSHA.
Yeah, OSHA's come. Oh shit! Here's OSHA. Yeah. So okay. All right. So May and OSHA obviously twins. Now there's a question in there: are they a dyad? Are they just Are they Night Sisters? Are they, you know what I mean? Because they're so connected, and they're what. And I know I brought it up to you guys in our little thing about like, is May a figment of OSHA's imagination, almost like, because they only see each other together. Nobody in the room sees them together. But
the things are happening so far.
No, but I know. But Soul even mentioned it before, because again, in my third watch through or second watch through, he even said, I watched May die. This is the sister, and because nobody knew she had a sister, even all of them, they're just like, nobody knew all this stuff. But this tragic happened on their home planet where May caused a fire that killed
everybody.
Okay, according to Soul, May caused the fire that killed her and her family. But according to May, the Jedi is the one again, like, caused this whatever happened on that planet.
This is the Last Jedi deal.
I have a theory.
Perspective, right? Yeah. Each one of them have a different perspective on what happened here. So,
yeah,
I do have a theory on what I think happened. If we're gonna get into that,
yeah, I mean this is like, go for it.
Okay, I do think that they are some kind of Night Sister offshoot. I think that the Jedi came there to stop them, and I think that's what it was. They were unarmed. They were still probably using some kind of force magic or something like that, and they were able to save one of the sisters. But I think the Jedi wiped out that family, thinking they were some kind of a dark side threat.
They were stationed there. They were probably with them for a while and saw something growing. Last Jedi Luke, right? That kind of thing. Like, had a sense, knew they had to do something. They all sensed it, made a move, but and they took the one as a Padawan.
Well, I mean, OSHA's obviously. OSHA saw what the Jedi did as good because she joined the Order, even though they had lost.
She's there. That's what Saul said, right? That she saw us as the savior,
right? But May saw them as the destroyers,
and OSHA sees May as the destroyer,
right? So I'm thinking it's something in the lines of that, where May was causing stuff. They had to kill her to stop it instead of apprehending her or whatever. They actually like when Soul says I watched her die, I'm thinking he killed her. Like he's the one who.
I don't think he would have been the one. I don't think he's. It would have been
out of the four.
Torben.
Well, because there's 4 Jedi involved in this plot. Carrie-Anne Moss seemed to be like just living her life, just out there doing whatever.
Indira. No, she was off by herself again too, though.
Yeah, but she was just like lounging she wasn't hiding.
She wasn't in Barrage Vow or anything, but she was off on her own, like Kelnaka is too. These aren't Jedi that are in the temple. These aren't Jedi that are with other people.
And the only one who's not is Soul, who has another Padawan who took Osha on as a Padawan. And whenever May saw Soul, she didn't immediately attack. She was taken aback by seeing Soul. She threw the dagger, as almost like a warning shot. It hit the ground. It didn't go anywhere near him. It didn't look to me like she was going to attack Soul. She didn't say, attack me, Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she didn't try to antagonize him to come at her. He's trying to talk to her. It looked like she was more defending herself against what she thought was an aggressor. I don't know. I don't see.
He's on the list. He's on her list.
He's on her list. Like I said, he had 4 Jedi and 4 different reactions.
We don't know.
No, we do.
No, May said it. May did say it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
They all said it. I think he's just a cherry. He's the last one, so he is probably the main one.
Yeah,
they're going in order. She's going in order.
Yeah, she has a list of 4 Jedi that she's going after for her own personal revenge. That the acolyte, not the acolyte. She's one of the acolytes. That the main guy is using her as her personal revenge story for his grand plan. Right. Yeah. So, but you have these 4 different Jedis of what they're doing. Like Soul's still involved in the Jedi Order. He's right in there. He's got another Padawan. He's continuing. Carrie-Anne Moss again. What's her name? I'll write it down. Indara. I'll write it down so I don't do that again. Indara was, like I said, just out there. She was not involved. She was just lounging in a thing, not hiding. You know, it was like everybody knew there was a Jedi on the planet anyway. So you had her, and then you had the dude that was taking the brush vow, Torben, who had scarred up, and he wanted absolution, meaning forgiveness, to kill himself, to forgive everything that he did to May and whatever.
And he would rather kill himself than admit what he did to the Jedi.
So like a brush vow is that when you failed, you go out and you disappear. But he did.
But that which is weird because he didn't disappear. He's in a temple. He's got Jedi with him, around him.
Yeah.
He's not on. He's on Barrage now by not talking or being solemn.
But like for 10 years, he stood there, right? You know, out of danger because there was no sense of danger. That's why I think I saw someone say, well, there's a skyline. Yeah, but no one was after him. And nobody, you know what I mean? No one was, he was just not involving himself.
He was upset about were dead.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So he couldn't forgive himself of what happened. He didn't go off to Octo like Luke did, but he just stayed in the Jedi temple and just basically melting away there. And then you had Kelbaka? Off in the jungle, isolated himself. Now we don't know. Maybe we're going to get to that next week and everything. But it seems to me like he's just an isolated himself, taking the brush vow in a way. But so there's 4 different paths of these where people with this group went. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's where I was getting. It's like it's kind of interesting, okay? Because like Torben was very interesting to me. Like that and that dialogue and that thing was like something is bad. And again, this is all about perception. And May deems these 4 vital to destroy for her own personal revenge plus pleasing her master.
And he wasn't surprised when he came down. He was like, "I've been waiting for you, May."
Yeah.
You know, like so it kind of kills all those other things about like even the split, the forced Skype of like she's doing things without.
That's
characters for sure. I mean, there's
absolutely. Yeah. At first, though, I wasn't convinced because. We saw May take out Indara, and then after that scene, we see Osha wake up, right? And I'm like, okay, what's going? Was she off the ship? Was what was this? But then as the episode went on, it's like, okay, no, they are twins.
That was just to confuse us until the twin thing came out.
Right? And I looked very, very hard on the symbol on May's head and Osha's head. Osha does not have one, and May definitely, even with the braids, you can see it in there, like. In between. I mean, I was like freeze framing. I'm like, okay, do they both have the mark? Because somehow May survived. But anyway, so
well, that's weird.
We're gonna get
I honestly think that she has one because I think the tattoo is the key that they've made a point to show it. And who wears tank tops in Star Wars, right? And, and who talks about their tattoos? So that was on purpose a discussion, so we know later.
It was on purpose, yeah. But I just didn't
because
see
I think
it.
they're
Maybe
going to match up on this.
Yeah, maybe it was a thing where there it is, you know what I mean? But it was not there at these 2 episodes. Like I really looked because there were some gaps in the braids, and I was like, oh no, I don't see it. Yeah, no. But it could be used again. Yeah, that like, where's my real father? You know,
maybe says it's not important in this moment. They're just didn't do it on the makeup,
right? And that's very exactly. That's a because think about if someone could see it, it's like, okay, well, the secret's given, right? You know,
that.
And also that symbol on May's head, kind of in the trailer, goes to those witches that come back and says about power. It kind of matches that a little bit. So there's a lot of weight to that Night Sisters or Mother or a dark side magic that the both of them belong to.
We know that's what's really is, right? So.
No.
I wonder if what we see with the mother in the trailer is part of the flashback. And not necessarily something that's current, right?
I think that's exactly what it is. Those people don't exist right now. I think it's her.
It's what the Jedi did.
Yeah. It's kind of like her person is the master is using her, saying, look, these guys think they're the only ones that can use the Force. Yeah. That's why they destroyed your people.
And that may well be her their mother too. You know,
I think it's a dude because they all say he pretty.
Oh no, I meant I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's one of her mothers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And however they mean it, I'm sure.
But the bad guy, the Mr. Smiley, Darth Smiley, is a dude. They say him.
Yeah. Actually, Darth Smiley has every chance to be Khmer.
Explain who's Khmer?
The alchemist.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy's sitting there messing with her, dude. He's Yodaing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's pulling
Wouldn't that'd be crazy.
Dude, he's obviously part of it. He knows the master. Yeah. He knows what's going on. There was something when he was acting like he didn't really know about Torben, right? He's like, "Did you kill your guy?"
He guys like knew too much.
And then all of a sudden he starts talking about him like
he brought up absolution.
He knows more.
Yeah, he brings up the Sith. He got the Sith oath going about passion is a lie. I know. Or pieces of all this stuff. He goes through it. And then when she goes to attack him later after he messed with her, right after he turned her in, he spins her around real fast and has control of that situation. There's no messing around. She's a trained.
That's gonna be crazy.
He had her pinned on the wall with the knife at his own throat.
I'm used to watching that guy in The Good Place, so seeing him as a Sith Lord would just freak me out.
He's dark side user for sure, dude. Or else he wouldn't have been able to handle her.
No, they're definitely both. Like I said, it was almost.
She's an acolyte. He's the master. He's in there messing around.
So either two ways. That would be a cool thing. Also hiding in plain sight again.
It's very Rings of Power. It's
very Rings of Power.
Very Sauron. Yeah, like he's there. Helping, and then all of a sudden he's given the tools for this ultimate thing,
and even setting her up to be caught was a test. It's like, no, she'll be here tonight, helping her get to this point where she's trying to kill one of them.
That's true.
Without a weapon.
That's true. It's all about It's a good. That's
a really good.
That holds some weight right there, man. That really does.
And now he's been cool the whole time. There's a reason they're making him. Yeah, I like that bad guy.
I actually like that too. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, the only thing my head was going into like this dude has many acolytes and he was like feeding on their own personal journeys for his bigger plan
to get an apprentice
but inevitably to also infiltrate and start thinning the herd until they the Sith really want to do their revenge their comeback, right? Because right now it's not like, future like 5 generations from or couple generations Sidious is going to rise. It's not every Sith Lord thinks they're the one that's going to infiltrate or do their thing. And I think the plan was to go from within has started at this point. In the Plagueis book, it was Tenebray's teachings to Plagueis that you got to go political with this. We can't go with hand-to-hand combat with the Jedi anymore. And we can't even grow our own numbers. We kill each other. So we're going to go from within and destroy for what they love the most. And the Acolyte did, or I would call him the Acolyte. Darth Smiley even said at the end, he goes, what is the most powerful weapon is to send the Acolyte to destroy the dream. You know what I mean? That the Jedi is hold on so dearly, which I thought was kind of cool. You know,
that was the Jedi are a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like you send the Acolyte to destroy the dream, right?
Yeah,
but what's his name to be? Yeah, that would be a very good Sauron moment, dude. Like,
yeah, and that was by second. I was watching him act and just trying to watch his mannerisms. Which, by the way, he's really good.
Yeah, he's
very good,
believable, and he has the couple. Even when he turns, it just felt like Palpatine to me.
Yeah,
it's how it felt.
Hiding in plain sight.
When the Jedi came and he was like, "Oh," and acting like he wasn't the way he had been acting. I'm like, this guy's really putting it on.
Yeah, but the way he turned things around on her.
That's why I don't want theory craft anymore, Scott. Just let it happen, man. But now, I'm like, that one makes too much sense.
So Darth Smiley, he's on this. If you guys look at the surroundings where he's at,
Octo.
It really looks like Octo.
I mean,
it does, because you see the island in the background that looks identical to some of those islands, and I'm like,
I was waiting for him to put up a coin for the Goonies on those rocks right there. I thought that was
bloom.
Yeah.
The lighthouse, the rock.
The Death Star and the thing it's pointing at pull this out. Oh my God, there it is.
This ancient weapon, talking about a Death Star that hasn't blown up on Kef Beer yet. I hate that. Let's get out of there. Sorry.
Yeah.
How did you make that?
So like again, like everything was kind of cool because like things were presented to us very black and white. I mean, like these two sisters. One was presumed, actually, both of them thought they were dead. Each one was dead.
Yeah.
The somehow somebody returned is going to get addressed. It's not going to be as stupid as quick as Poe saying it, somehow. That's going to be addressed. And then, like I said, the 4 Jedi, 2 of them are dead now. There's only 2 left. You know what I mean? So it's like, boom, boom.
6 episodes for 2 more.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And we know from the trailer, there's the big reveal of Darth Smiley to everybody and everything. And that looks cool. That's a good theory, Chris, about the hiding in plain sight, because again, it's the Sith way, or did they learn it this soon, or did Sidious do that? You know what I mean? Like that's where it's kind of cool, because one teaches the other, one teaches the other, and that's where I'd be awesome to go to.
So do you think I don't think this is a new invention or a reinvention of Darth Tenebris. Would this be, if they decided to go that route, would this be Darth Smiley be Darth Tenebris's master? And could you see that character being the one who would pass on the knowledge to Tenebris and so Plagueis and
that's been the
problem. I would love
it.
That's a weird one, right?
Yeah.
I would love it. And if they kept the EU as a Bith, right? If they kept him as a Bith, race wise, and we see an Acolyte as a Bith, that would be like, there's Tenebris, and then that would be cool, because Leslie, what she did, Headland, she did say, I took a lot of EU and a lot of stuff in here, and she said this is my melting pot of a lot of EU source material.
Well, like the Barrage Vow, she was on that. That was cool. That's only been in that one comic.
I will say, I'm going to say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, besides the aliens and stuff, 99% of everything we saw in here was very smart Star Wars verbiage, except for like the earthly tones, but we
those are weird, but
but
kind of happens.
Almost everything that we're seeing here, to me, like I said, it's and maybe maybe people on the internet, maybe the pit doesn't agree, but I did feel this was Star Wars. I did feel like we were in the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, and of course, nothing's going to take away from like pure Star Wars, but it did a very good job of paying attention to those details. You saw, because I said my third watch, I was watching the background at this time.
Yeah,
because you know what I mean. I was like looking at things. I'm like, man, I don't see it. It's like almost flawless in the point of like really thrusting us in our IP. If
you're not sitting there just nitpicking it like the third, right? You're just watching it and cruising. Yeah, it's solid. It really is. If you just take it for what it is,
and I'm happy about that, dude. I'm really happy about that. Like one thing about Andor, as great as it was, very earthly architecture. I mean, they did a lot to dress it up, but there was a lot of similarities to Earth, like the cereal, the bowls, like the stuff. You know what I mean?
Like I said, it
Very
wasn't Star Wars
but
enough.
it wasn't
Because I'm
fantasy
missing-
enough.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this was like kind of like the best of both worlds, where it had a lot of everything in the background. It was like there's so much detail. It really is.
Yeah.
Even when he was making the poison and he was
Oh,
giving her the speech,
I
I
agree.
need a drink. And I mean, he had like 17 different things on the thing. The
And
only thing that was
it
the
was
shaker
neat.
was earthly, but
I enjoyed that bit too. I
Yeah,
don't know
it was
why. I was
great.
like, that was a really
And-
great piece.
Yeah.
And the way he did it and the way he put it all together and the way he was speaking to her, it
Yeah.
was very, I don't want to say manipulative. It wasn't manipulative,
Yeah.
but he was
Teaching.
He was
it
yes,
was
it was a very teaching moment right there.
Yeah.
The way
He was
and
sitting there.
every
He
one
was
of us
asking
paid
him,
attention.
You're right.
Yeah, and every one of us paid attention to every word he was saying and
Right.
what he was doing, making the poison. And even when he stopped her and put the lid on, it's like, I was like, oh, that's like
Yeah.
very smart. To me, that's a
Yeah.
smart way of doing things, right? And
Yeah.
He
I
knows
love it,
more
dude.
than
Then he's
Yeah,
letting on.
and
So when
the
she's
whole-
telling him, "Hey, don't tell the Matt," it would be good for either one of us if you tell him,
right,
right? He's
Oh, yeah,
all,
yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
I had no problem.
yeah.
Dumbass, right? He's like,
See,
you know,
it's right
and he,
there.
and he talks about her. You have to do this without one. She's like, I'm gonna get one of them. So he's like, all right.
Yeah.
He knows he's letting her. He's testing her. He's letting her do this.
Well,
thing for
she
herself.
got Indara. I mean, perfect. She manipulated the Jedi
Oh, yeah.
by killing Indara the way that you would kill a Jedi. It's the weakness, right?
Okay.
Passionate for other people.
So we saw in the trailer, we see the lightsaber hit the ground. We knew what room she was in because it looked like the room that she and Andara were fighting in during the trailer, right? So we knew that Andara was going to end up being the dead Jedi. But did you guys expect it right off the bat? Like,
No, not
like
the
it
opening
was gonna
before
start
credits,
like- right?
before the title, Acolyte, which I thought was awesome. I was like, oh,
Your cold open is killing one of the most famous actors.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, oh, wow. So this is happening. All right.
yeah.
And the one thing that because I think I asked you guys this last week. I think I said something along the lines of I was expecting this series to be following the Jedi as they go through and try and figure
Right.
out everything. And you guys were saying it was more dark side than
Yeah.
Jedi. But no, it is the Jedi. It's like a procedural. I feel like I'm watching Law and Order Jedi Victims Unit, right?
This is a Columbo, dude. This is
It
Columbo
is.
back in the days. This is Law and Order. This is a very,
Yeah.
like I said, it's a murder mystery of a mystery of a mystery.
I'm
because-
still expecting more Sith oriented or more dark side
Yeah.
oriented.
And I do think that
perspective
is
on the story.
coming. Yeah, I do think that because again, you have to establish. And now we're established. And
You
I thought,
do.
like I said, after the first two episodes, I'm like, we're okay. I'm with you. Like as far as like I know everything. Okay, let's go.
Because
Killing
now
the first-
because they've set up the Jedi as the bad guys. Actually, when we get to it, we're watching them and we're starting to like them, but we're going to realize these four that we're starting to like are bad.
Yeah. Like when she
Right?
kills Kelbaka
Yeah.
next week,
Yeah.
that's gonna be hard for us to watch.
So- and I'm sitting here thinking that what's going to end up happening is we're going to see what happened. We're going to
Yeah,
actually
next
see what went
yeah,
down.
yeah.
If not next week, then the week after that or something. And
Or
we're going to
blips
see
of it, right? Until the
Right.
episode 8.
exactly like Boba Fett style.
I just
We're
gonna
gonna
say,
see-
God damn it.
Yeah.
We're going to see Soul grab Osha and protect her from whatever's happening. I
Yeah.
don't think he had an active hand in what went down. He was just there. And I think
He
that's
ta-
telling. I think that's telling because the other three Jedi were separate, like we had just said,
Yeah.
right? The other three Jedi, they don't have Padawans. They are out in the universe doing their own thing.
Not
And
exactly.
I think Soul protected Osha from what was going down because he saw what was coming, protected
Yeah.
her from it, and that way, Shay looks at him as just a Jedi that was there,
Right.
Not necessarily.
But he
one that-
saw her die. So yeah, he protected
Yeah.
like he absorbed that what was going on and protected O'Shea from that. Like she didn't see it, but he saw everything that went down. And when he said I saw her die, it could have been Torben killing May. Like I think one of them killed her because he, Soul saying I watched her die. It's impossible. But he was like the only one that knew that he had had a sister too. That we know of. I don't know what the other four. It's
Well,
almost
the
like
other
these
four,
four made a
it was
pact.
just that Vernestra
And
didn't
Dara
know.
knew.
They didn't
Yeah.
tell Vernestra Rowe.
Vanestra didn't know. What's his
was
name
it.
didn't know. The other.
But the four that were on
They
whatever
knew.
they knew.
they knew.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it almost like those four made a pact, and then they went their separate ways after
That's
this
what it
main
is.
tragedy.
This is I know what you did last summer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
and they all again because on Soul because again it's a source of pain to even see it when the Padawan the younglings were describing what they felt in that training room when he said fire, he had a reaction, but he also turned it on like that's the Force, the fire, flame.
He has no guilt. He has no
well,
guilt.
I think he's got guilt. I think he does, but
he just knows how to deal with it. He's letting it go because as soon as she says about OSHA, right, his emotions change.
Yeah, he felt responsible.
She's all I misjudged your emotion with her or your attachment to her, obviously, because something grabbed him right there, right? And he's very solemn and he's sorry, and he's the one that says at the end, he's all, "Let me try to save her. I couldn't save her as a kid. Let me."
That's
save
what
her
I'm.
now.
Yeah,
He's
like, I want to correct this wrong.
I don't. If he's guilty, I don't think he feels guilty for what happened, for the overall destruction of the family. I think he feels guilty for not being able to save Shay, the kid. Well, I don't know. There's something there where I don't think he's fully responsible. One of the fully responsible parties for what went down.
Well, no, but May does.
May,
right?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Maybe,
so again, that like May's the one who's got this list, the Kill Bill list, and she's gonna
her master has talked to her. See, just the way Saul went and got OSHA, right? This master found or saved,
right?
May,
yeah.
And then whichever way she sees as a savior, she sees as the devil.
Exactly.
It's
and it's all perception.
It's Kylo and Luke, man.
Yeah. And we were told on this, like it's you're gonna see the Sith think they're right, or the May thinks that she's on the moral high ground, and then Osha is gonna think she's got the moral. It's like
frozen Kill Bill is what she described this as.
Yeah. Like I said, it's two different perspectives that both think they're right. That's why there's conflict. I mean, that's conflict in general, right?
That's how it is. And May isn't totally dark side, dude. Right? Like she killed that bartender when she could have. She sees Oshi when she called her that, right? She called Osha that. It's like, whoa, the hell, you know? And she has trouble killing.
She's hell bent on those four. That's what she wants to do.
I have a note here that says May is probably the most polite Sith acolyte ever. She's very nice to everybody else, kind of, not murdering everybody. She's
she's definitely not. What's her name?
I have
Reva.
that note there because of no, she's not Reva at all. Because of how she acted towards. I don't know all the names yet, but the alchemist, the way she acted towards what was it?
Kamir.
The way she acted.
Qimir.
Okay. The way she acted towards him, it was very buddy. They're pals.
It was
friends.
That did throw me off just a little bit, like because again, I'm expecting like
each
kind
other
of like this
for a while. That's why it was neat when Osha came in pretending to be her with the hello, hi.
Yeah,
it was a big bang hello, right? Remember when they met Penny?
Yeah.
Hello, hi, hello. It was that move, right? That was a badass scene too when he was asking her and letting things out. He was letting the story out to her. And said she looked just like her. That was
very manipulative right there. Yeah,
that was a master move, dude. The way he got close to her face.
So
and said
now
that.
Darth Smiley.
If he was just an alchemist, he just sat back and said shit. He would just let it go and told
you
somebody.
are 100% right. This guy is the support, isn't he?
I think you're correct. And let's go. We've got Michael Mahoney in the pit. Is this going to be similar to the High Republic comics when those Jedi kill most of their Padawans because of a vision of them becoming Sith in the future? Scott?
I did not. I gave up on the High Republic comics because they were difficult to read.
I didn't see that ever.
No,
I don't remember
Michael
that
Mahoney. We'll do some reading. We'll do some research on that. That's
what I think happened with the Night Sister people. Yes.
Before we jump into promises of reading these comics, please tell us which series this was and what issues, because there's.
I didn't say I was going to read it. I said I was going to look into it.
Whenever Darth Moocher asks for somebody to look into it, he's asking me to read the comics so I can. Exactly. So please let me know what I'm going to look into
it, guys.
I've got the Marvel app. I can download it all and read it as long as it's not the IDW.
But to that point, I think that's what it was. It was a vision of these guys going berserk, and they all kind of shared that vision, had that same dark feeling.
Yeah.
And took care of it.
And here's the thing too: these could be the only 4 remaining Jedi involved in this plot. There could have been more, that died on that planet too, where May was probably killing them, and then they killed her to stop them kill. It's like this whole thing, right? And those 4 are the remaining ones that stole the sister from her. And
there's also a way we have to figure out how May has to be a part of it, because May did start she started.
Yeah,
the fire.
she started exactly.
It's from what we think,
right? Well, that's what was told us, told to us that she started.
We've got both different sides. So.
Yeah, so it's, you know what, I this is where I think why this series is working, is because it's got us talking on these levels of like not just theory crafting, because again, you know, theory crafting goes so many different ways, and then all of a sudden it just goes to a different direction we didn't even explore sometimes. But at least that we have these cool things to talk about other than what we've been talking about. That's like,
how's it affecting the original? How's it affecting the sequels?
Exactly. Like, wait a second, the Sith can't make themselves known because it doesn't jive with the blah blah blah. So
and we're excited about it, which is,
and it still can, right? It's still
conversations.
Again, yeah, and it still can. We're on that verge of like, it's always there.
Yeah, they don't see her as a Sith; they just see her as an assassin. She's trained. They want to know who her master is.
And you know, it's funny too, because both of them asked her, "Who trained you?" Because I think sometimes it's like they have this inkling of like, wait a second, you're showing a lot of like this like arts that maybe the dark arts that we've been learning, right? You know, and they're asking to get confirmation, but they're asking for a reason. It's almost God, what was I gonna say? It was a movie that they kept asking the question, but they were asking it like, are you this bad guy that we're knowing about? Like, are you the Sith? You seem like you've been trained by the Sith. Unless they get confirmation of it, it might be in the back of their mind. That's why they've asked her twice. Who trained you? You know what I mean? Who's training you? Who's trained you?
They obviously don't like outside people. See, that was the other thing.
Yeah,
the show is about the power of the Force and who is allowed to wield it.
Yes,
and
who's allowed to
wield it. They kind of said there, because when they were talking, they're like, look, it was one thing when it was your rogue apprentice, but now we have a Force user trained on the outside.
Right.
That's a problem to the Jedi.
Who's training you?
That's a problem. Yeah, nobody's allowed to be. It makes it seem like they're the only show in town.
Yeah, and like I said,
allowed to be trained, and that's what they would have done to these mothers. That was the Force users trying to use the Force outside of being trained. Yeah. Maybe the Jedi were there to train them.
Yeah.
Or get them to
something
go their
went
way,
bad.
Dude,
something.
This is a mission. They were knocking on their door. We're here to talk to you about the Force. You know, if you have a few minutes of your time, and they didn't like it. Boom.
Yeah.
Straight up their ties.
Rolling into the bicycles
on their robe and a little tie.
Like just because the Sith have been extinct for a millennia doesn't mean that they haven't had their guards up on what's out there in the big galaxy. And it's probably why the Jedi are trying to stretch their reach or their influence on so many on the entire galaxy that they're getting pushback, right? Because it's like in the past, if you go through all like the history of the EU and the Old Republic and all that stuff, right? You know, it's always been Sith versus Jedi and the two ideologies clashing. And then the Sith smartened up and be like, we got to regroup and we become two. And the Jedi probably like, you know what, their probably philosophy is like, we need to overtake the entire galaxy with our influence so we can pinpoint it on every edge of the galaxy. And this is where it's like, just because they're extinct for a minute doesn't mean that their guard's not up. So they might question that, and questioning that might just cause some conflict and disruption and like, you know, going too far, just like what Mahoney's talking about. Like maybe that was like, I see these kids uprising. So guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to take it upon ourselves. The council's like, know what? We're going to kill them all. And we're going to sweep it under the carpet. And that's a lot. That can happen, dude. And I see that happening. Because, again, Jedi is a philosophy. It's a code to become a Jedi. Same thing with the Sith, right? It's not necessarily dark and light. It's this code that you live by. And they really stress the emotional attachments on these two episodes, right? Letting the past go. Don't get even Soul's Padawan even question, why are you holding on to past jet, you know, stuff like that, when because by the book, again, her first mission, I thought the dynamic was awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't allowed, but they just warn you against those emotions.
Yeah,
right.
So this is the beginnings of and Anakin's the ultimate price on that rule. You know what I mean? Like the ultimate price, it's just let him have it, dude. You know, but it's that fear of loss that'll cause you to go down the path of the dark side. So it's almost like a flawed ideology, because how could you get anybody to not have an attachment to anything? You know what I mean? It's very hard to let go. And I will use that example as like Yoda did that. And that's probably why a lot of fingers could be pointed at, because he did go along with like, I don't care about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let it go. Tough. Let it go, Sheldon. Like, just let it go. You know what I mean? And Yoda lived that way, but he didn't, just because he did, he expected everybody else to do it, and it didn't work. You know what I mean? And so I can see that happening too, where it's like, and then you go to the sequels and Yoda's like, yeah, you know what? The Jedi couldn't live the way that it was supposed to be on paper, because obviously it's all destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, and again, failure's our best teacher, all of that stuff. So, I mean, it's all there. It's a very cool, complicated story that Star Wars is, right? It's, you know, the original trilogy is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple, but yet complicated. But now we're really just like, because we've gotten all these Disney Plus shows, and EU did a very good job at convoluting stuff.
You know what? They say all these Disney Plus shows. This is probably besides the first Mandalorian when Grogu showed up at the end, right? Is probably the best first episode. They got me hooked, right? That I was like, all right, I'm okay. And then the first two, I was like, I had like, no, I didn't need the second one to be okay. It was nice they gave it to me. Like usually they give you the first two, and you're like, good thing you did, because that first one wouldn't have had me. Right. Interesting. Yeah, but this is for all my worries about it up front and the things I see. It's one of the better shows.
I think they gave us that second episode so we could know that there was a plot, that there was some kind of, that the Jedi are
invested into this isn't the story.
This isn't as cut and dry as you think it is. There's the Jedi are hiding something. So I think that's why they gave us the 2 episodes, and I'm very grateful for it, because
absolutely.
Though I did enjoy the first episode, the second episode is the one that hooked me. So.
And I like the Nemodians in this one. I thought they were cool. I just like the dude sighing all the time. Just like
they way changed it. Saul sounds more like a Nemodian.
Well, yes, they toned it down big time, but you can still tell it was there.
The second one. The female voice was just like, whoa.
British. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, but I don't know. The look of them, even the 2 soldiers.
I do. I love Nemodians. Period. Is cool.
Yeah. Again, the aesthetics of it, as far as like the makeup department and the droids were awesome. The aliens in the
I had it written down too.
And the prison break was awesome. I loved it because they got captured in the next scene. That was awesome. I just loved it, man. I
really like that cyborg deal in the prison. The
GoBot 0.10 kind of stuff.
That's some modifications like crazy on that guy.
That was messed up, cool. Man.
Yeah.
That was cool. Some like
he had human hands too. It was really weird.
Yeah. You know what else? What I want to look at eventually is look at the prequels Coruscant skyline versus what they gave us today,
to see
if it got built up around it, if she took it to the point where they brought it down.
I did notice that the Jedi spires had gold on them versus when we get to the prequels they weren't. It's like that because they had the golden robes, the golden like this High Republic era kind of stuff, which is.
Makes
sense. Like I said, this might be the true beginning of the end instead of the prequels being the true beginning of the end. Like Acolyte might be like this whole thing where the Jedi had to change almost overnight on their philosophy, but then it was too late because they've already, stuff in motions have already been doing their things.
Right.
And so,
but what did we say? It was the end of the High Republic. This is the end of the High Republic.
The beginning of the end. Yeah.
The beginning of the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, back to the crash too. You know what was cool in the crash? The autopilots.
Yeah, the chairs.
They turned into chairs. That was so great. I have that as a note. That's
I said, cool. Like I said, dude, I was watching. I go, shit's smart in here, man.
Yeah.
Like things are.
That was really clever.
Why don't all the ships have autopilot still? Why does the Falcon not have an autopilot?
Yeah, this wasn't the bash kit. Like to compare the two, and I know the 2 shows do 2 separate things, like Kenobi and Acolyte. Like let's compare those 2 as far as like the time and effort involved. Acolyte was announced years ago. Kenobi was announced, boom, 6 months later we got a Kenobi show, and it really showed it was a garage.
The budget was so much smaller than this one.
It really showed how they just give me some super glue, let's get this done. Versus the bolts on that one in the background, even though it's blurred, need to have this hexagon thing, whatever it is. It's like that attention. So I applaud the I applaud Leslie Headland. I applaud the set directors. I applaud the practical effects. I really do. That time and effort means it goes so much further than just slap a sticker on it and move on. You know what I mean? And I feel, like I said, that's a true Star Wars trait and production value that we look at. We do look at. It's not missed upon us. So a cool droid that's on the screen for 2 seconds could make or break a show for us sometimes.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. The 100-year-old Gonk droid, the old style Gonk droid. Was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff, man.
Pip was cool.
Credit where credit's due on all this stuff. There was really, really cool stuff. If this was her making all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, once you hit the credits, it's directed by, created by,
written by,
boom, boom,
and,
boom.
And not only that, but this was coming. I know there was a lot of uproar about her not being a quote unquote Star Wars fan, that she wasn't as invested in the. Yeah. Maybe that's what we need, are people that are not necessarily huge Star Wars fans coming in and giving their perspective. Because if that's what this is,
I don't think that was
she
her.
Was. No, she was a fan.
Yeah,
oh, okay. I thought it was.
She's a mega fan. She nerded out about all that stuff.
Yeah,
she's
in.
It was some of the actors.
Some of the actors.
Yord the other day was talking about how Anakin blew up the Death Star.
Yeah,
I saw that.
He just escorted him out. That's all. Just get out.
Oh man, if you want the people that are already mad to get madder, right? You say something like that, and then they're like, "See what we're getting here?" Blah blah blah.
Maybe that's why I was predisposed to dislike Yord, because just shut up.
Yeah. You said
I was dude. I'm telling you, I was ready to dislike a couple of these people. And
I agree, man. I agree.
And that's shame on me, but it just is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
I was just looking that up because I hadn't heard back from you, Michael. I did read that comic, and it was an Old Republic comic. That was a messed up series too.
But I think that's going to be what it is with these people. They won't kill their Padawans, so they're going to take these sister mothers out.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Again, then it goes into line of, it's not about light and dark. It's about power and who wields it and who wants it. Because
who's allowed to wield it?
Who's allowed to? Yeah.
Who gives them the right to dictate who can and cannot use the Force?
That's what it's going to come down to. That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah. Wow. I do. Okay. So to close this off and everything, I'm on what Scott mentioned earlier was about the Sith stuff. I do want them to get into some heavy Sith stuff, like dark side stuff, holocrons, whatever it is. Like I think that deserves it, because you could do this murder mystery and you could do these things, but I just like to really, give it some weight and ground. You got to get into that dark side stuff.
I feel like we're going to.
Especially since the murder mystery has already been solved. They know who did it, right?
Yeah.
It's just capturing.
Now it's like why and how.
Police work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the reason I think you're going to get your holocron sister, I told you the other day, she said she wanted Darth Bane. Yeah. In here through a holocron, and she couldn't use him, or whatever. She couldn't. She tried to get Darth Bane and couldn't. So, which means he's probably on the burner, right? He's sitting there somewhere.
I heard her say that about Yoda also. Like,
she did say that about Yoda.
Yeah, she did say about Yoda.
She tried to use him, and she's like, you would think he wouldn't be hands off, but he was hands off.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Filoni saying, "Don't do it," because I heard Sarlacc saying.
Well, he's the overpowered hero, right? You throw in Yoda, and he's
Superman walking into Batman's crew, right? He's taking out Penguin, and you're right. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I like how this is starting as far as like this isolated incident that you send the ground team and go check out, and people were involved in this thing that's going to uncover like this bigger conspiracy, even amongst the Jedi. And then find out that, like I said, it's bigger than normal, where now we might have to get the council involved, or now we might have to get like others in there. But this is cool. So I think it was a good talk. I think I mean we've talked around some things and through some things and added things on ourselves, and it's cool, man. I like doing it. So I cannot wait, honestly, until next Wednesday when we get another installment of this. The first 2 episodes were called Lost and Found and Revenge. So
Justice. It was Revenge/Justice.
Oh yeah, Revenge. Okay. I just saw Revenge on.
Yeah, each one has so far both
like
of
a
them
dual.
a dual title. Yeah.
Oh, and it's exactly because they're twins.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right?
One's looking for revenge, one's looking for justice. One was
one's
lost,
one's
Jesus
found.
Christ.
I know it's all there, dude.
It's
Like
right
I said,
there.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the conversation.
And next week's call is Better Call Saul. So it isn't really.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here then. All right. Let's yeah, exactly. Thank you everybody in the pit. I know that there's a lot of spoiling going on, but I know some people are checking in and then went to go watch the show and then but so if you catch us on replay, of course, get your comments in the section below here so we can continue the conversation going. And we will reconvene again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time to just get into, man. Again, Era of the Acolyte. We're in it. We're here for the ride. Let's see where this goes and see where the impact of the show goes. But overall, I think a solid B is a good overall assessment of what we have here.
And this talk that we had made me take it from a B- to just a solid B.
Nice. Yeah. Like I said, I'm at a solid B, man. Like, again, like to really go into like, oh crap, Acolyte's one of the best. It's got, like I said, you bring that Sith element to it, and you get to where the emotions of how Star Wars is. I think that's where you'll
stuff
get
on what some Jedi did, and see, and you start seeing why they said they're doing what they do, and how that gets deep, man.
Yeah.
So
you just have a bunch of people bitching about, oh, you can't do that to the Jedi. The Jedi are great.
Yeah. But the Jedi failed.
Right. That will be a fight, but it's so awesome though. Still, and that's the story. I that's what I want.
Exactly. But we know the outcome of the Jedi. They failed. The Galactic Empire was formed for a reason. Like, okay. But yeah, I mean,
because
we all love Star Wars because the Jedi failed.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm full on Empire.
Yeah, I mean, we all fell in love with Star Wars.
Yoda had done his job. I wouldn't have the tattoo.
That's right. That's right.
We wouldn't have Vader. We wouldn't have all this cool stuff if Yoda had just done his
what made
job.
Star Wars so cool is that the Jedi failed. That's what made Star Wars so cool.
It is.
All right, guys. Well,
I feel like there's so many. I'm really happy right now because we went through Bad Batch where we thought it was going to be cool and stuff, and all these things, and it ended up being just not
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And even there was some disappointment with me, and I was never super in, like, Ahsoka's great. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But every episode I was like, I don't know. It could have been bigger, or when a Thrawn hit, it wasn't quite what I wanted in that moment. All this stuff, but it's because my expectations were so high on everything.
Right.
And going into this one, so worried about it, and thinking, God, just don't break it.
Just don't break it, right?
And to come out great or pretty close to, really good. I should say.
No, I get it, man.
I'm really damn happy.
Yeah, I honestly, I did walk away going like, that was good. That was fun. Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't like, oh my God, I got to call people, but it was like, this is I feel like I'm in the Star Wars mode right now versus like trying to force it or or trying to really
defend it to make things
defend it.
Like, I have to defend Kenobi. I have to defend Ahsoka. I have to defend all this stuff.
Yeah, there are elements of it. Yeah,
I was ready to attack.
Yeah,
I didn't have to defend shit here because it's not my characters.
There are, and again,
I'm not in love with this.
And there is that talk out there too. I've heard a lot of bashing. But from a lot of people that haven't watched it, they're just not rewatching it. They're refusing to watch it.
I had that feeling. I had that feeling today, and you see it on what do you call it? Where you do the reviews.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. The critics are at 96 and the fans are at 41.
30
something. The fans, most of the fans in there didn't see it. So I saw somebody on Facebook bitching about it and going off on all this stuff and about things about in the show. I'm on, did you even watch it? I said basically, I said, hey, I had curiosity. I get your opinion here, but did you watch? Or are you basing it off something you've heard? And he came back with no, with all the with so much little time I have to watch things. I'm not going to watch it when I trust 4 content creators. Well, there's the problem, dude. Stop being a follower. Look for yourself. Make your own opinion. Just get the hell out of the chat.
Be a leader. Be a leader. Don't be a follower.
Honest to God, man. And everybody, just stop doing that. If you got an opinion, cool. If you watched it, if you didn't watch it and you have an opinion, shut the fuck up. Because honestly, you can be excited for it or not excited for it, but you don't have to show everybody else's thing. And that's kind of what I told him in there too. I'm like, hey, what's the point? What'd you come in here for?
Yeah.
It's that question the question I put on the one of the quizzes. Are you excited? And one of the answers I put was no, I hate Star Wars, but I love to tell everybody how much I hate it.
Yeah.
It was one of the responses, because just shut the hell up. Who cares if you don't like something you're not going to watch?
Yeah. I think I want to stay away again from that because I've been away from that for a while. I didn't get into that during Bad Batch. I didn't watch a lot of it during Ahsoka. I just a little bit. I was a little deeper in this one because I was really curious to see. I know what's happening, right? But I wanted to see it, and I see it, and I'm like, damn, it's me angry. And again, I get their first point. I do. I see it. It's completely wrapped up. But
and to take that as the soul, it's like to take something that you expected the show to do and just go in like, I'm not watching it because it could have been this without like what we do. We watch it.
They're not watching it because there's too many women in it, and it's by a lesbian director and all this. And that's what they're doing.
That's all they see.
And I don't know about the Weinstein thing. I don't know about
not the story,
that, right? Yeah. But that's what it is. I give a shit about anything in the real world. Yeah, just don't bring it here. Yeah, she's bringing it here. I mean, there's the mothers. There's she's going to bring it here. Yeah, but you're going to move on through it, right? But it's just let it be. Damn. Yeah. If you don't like it, don't like it. But don't complain about it until you see it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like that old meme of the guy at the urinal and somebody and all these open urinals, and one of them walks over, stands right next to him, looks at him, and goes, "I'm vegan."
Yeah,
it's the same thing, right? Yeah. We're all at a urinal, we're by ourselves, we're just doing our thing. Somebody walks over and says, "I hate Kathleen Kennedy. I hate the Acolyte. Leslie Headland sucks." It's like,
Disney killed Star Wars over.
Disney killed Star Wars, right?
And one point to make too. It's like this is it's actually funny because like this is the era of Disney Star Wars. We get it, and this is the canon that we have, right? All our lives, we've always had, we call it the EU now, or we call it the Legends or whatever it is now. We always took a lot of those books as gospel too, and we read a lot of them. There's so many good stories, and there's a lot of not good stories, but nobody, I don't remember ever hearing people complain about those being in the Star Wars universe, because there was a lot, like the Courtship of Princess Leia was probably the most boringest book that I've ever read, but I read it.
Boringest.
Yeah. So, but you know what I'm getting at? Like,
Air was more funner.
Yeah, it was. It redeemed itself. But I just figure sometimes, like, look, you can still look at all of the stuff as EU. You absolutely can. You could take the original trilogy or the prequels or whatever you can and say this is like going, and we're just getting this extra continuation of EU. Honestly,
because you just use your 6, take your 6 and walk away.
Well, that, and like I said, and just use and just look at all the stuff as expanded universe stuff. Like, it doesn't have to affect your canon if you really are adamant. Because did you really do that with the EU stuff? Like, did you really take that stuff as gospel? And like, because a lot of it was convoluted and a lot of it contradicted each other. It wasn't
but yeah.
I mean,
it's contradicted. Like, we have to work ourselves into it the way we do now, right?
Yeah, like you said, the continuity wasn't always there. They tried, but it wasn't always there. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, why, you could still treat this as an expanded universe of Star Wars and not really like they destroyed Star Wars. You can't destroy it. I'm sorry.
And if you do that, that's fine, but don't tell anybody else they have to too.
Right.
Yeah. That's the part I hate. That's the part when everybody's like, no, that's not real Star Wars. This stuff's not real Star Wars. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah. It is because it is. You cannot
conversation
watch it.
I had
that's
today.
Fine. Yeah. That's completely fine if you don't want to. If that's not your canon, cool, but don't put it on anybody else. Yeah. Everybody else is watching it. Shut up.
Yeah. We're talking about the show as a show and what it means and the stories moving forward stuff.
Everybody else is too worried about
we'll sneak our opinions in here, but it's not the absolute opinion of everything, and we respect everybody in the pit, and except for Amanda Mike, we don't really expect.
Except for not just kidding. I was in a conversation today. Somebody asked my opinion on it, and I said, "This is my opinion." I said what I said here. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good start. And somebody came at me saying, "I'm so tired of people saying that this is a good start." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't care what you think. He asked my opinion. I gave him my opinion. I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Yeah. Why must everybody? Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the internet.
It's true. It's like, what's your opinion? Oh, that's bullshit. You go away, Scott.
Yeah.
Like, you came into my bubble.
Yeah, you do. I do it all the time where I start the comment, then I erase it. I let today's go because I wanted to see before the show. I just wanted on that, because I do try to let most of that go anymore, man. But
for the most part, I enjoy this is the reason why we do the podcast. I enjoy getting on here and just talking. And we don't honestly, we're not yes men, and we do not shy away from comments. If people don't like it, they don't like it. But let's talk. I'm not going to try to talk you into liking a show or Star Wars in general, but come at it to like constructive criticism, and then we could try to. If I can't talk my way out of it, I'll admit it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. You're right. We can't do this. But the show it went off the rails. I can't do it because
we did it with Rise of Skywalker. We knew that there was a plan, that they had a plan, and it was going to be great.
I had to eat my words on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
we all did. But that's also what we do too. It's not that we're trying to force our opinions on people. We're trying to tell people exactly how we feel about these shows. You could take what we say, you could cast it aside, or you could listen to what we say and maybe come at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Or maybe you think like we do too. Who cares?
Or we give you a reason to understand why something happened in the story that might not even be what they did, but you could headcanon it, right? We can say, okay, until they prove me wrong, this is how I'm going to see this, and it makes it fit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All right. So, real fast before we go away, Obi-Wan Chingon you cannot like something, but don't relentlessly try to forcing others to have the same mindset. Agreeing to have a discussion is like what you all do is different. Yeah, 100%. You know,
it's kind of just like the twins.
Yeah.
They just have different perspectives.
It's perspective in their own experiences. It's how exactly.
Yeah, they got different lenses.
And then Fig Fury, the owners of the property made it. Therefore, it's Star Wars. Doesn't mean you have to like it or not like it. Correct, man.
Right. Like the ones you like.
Yep. The IP is big enough. The universe is big enough to like I said,
cherry pick if you want.
You can cherry pick it. You can act like this is EU stuff. All right, look,
the onus is on Lucasfilm to keep it clean.
Yeah,
as far as continuity.
Yeah. The only thing that changed. The only thing that changed from Disney is starting over and not in this grand scheme timeline. So no, everything is it's the MCU of the Star Wars. Everything is going to have continuity of the last and the past, present, future of things. You know, the biggest mistake they mentioned was there's no source material and we have to create it. That was their mistake, and that's where I think people split from day one. Yeah. Hopefully they're learning from that though. Like right, you know,
like
because they said it
right here
doesn't mean it's like yeah.
Right. And Headland said she's taking bits and pieces, and we can see with what they've done, how they've taken bits and pieces from the old expanded universe and adapted it to fit. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And I guess you just trust the brainchild, Dave Filoni, Julianne Ford. Dave Filoni hasn't gone anywhere. This is still under his umbrella. Like he has to sign off on this, I believe. He might not have been there from the start of this Acolyte, but you know, it's there. So.
But this is enough stuff here where he doesn't have to be too involved because it's not.
Yeah, he knows the where it went. He's probably like, "Yeah, go." I don't think this is gonna bother anything the Mandalorian Grogu are doing, so go for it.
Exactly. Well, you're not gonna break canon. You're good.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I think, like I said, if directors and actors would just stick to the script on interviews.
I agree.
Right. And talk about the story and talk about what they're doing and talk about their excitement for Star Wars and their character and what's to come, we would be a lot better. And we wouldn't have all this fighting.
Not just with Star Wars, with everything. Honestly, just with everything.
But that's also the interviewers, the media.
They're looking for clickbait.
They asked all the same questions to get the headline, to get everybody to look, to get everybody mad, because they don't care if it's happy or sad. Comments, likes, and dislikes are all the same to everybody. So
it's all about the algorithm. It's all about it. All right, cool.
Don't realize that, man, at all.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, let's get out of here. Again, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Everybody in the pit, you guys were awesome. Again, if you're watching this on a replay or if you have more comments, leave it in the comments section below so we can get to it and continue the conversation.
We will.
Of course, you know, we also have our Facebook community. What's the Star Wars? What is it? The Star Wars community.
Star Wars community.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the
Digest Star Wars community.
Yeah.
We do honestly, we do have some posts being promised about like books and where to start in the eras that they need to be like some essential reads. No, we'll work on it. We're going to get some essential reads down. We'll look into that stuff that matters, you know, like, okay, here's what to get you started in this era of timeline. So that's where the Star Wars community will on our Facebook will shine, of course. And with that, I think, you know, besides our personal stuff, Tashi Station Emporium.
I love that guy. He's so good.
I'll do a shameless plug. If you guys feel so inclined to join the YouTube channel that I've set up for Tashi Station, I just started, downloading a bunch of shorts and everything. I've got a lot of stuff that I've been working really hard on that I'm going hard on. I've been looking really hard.
He has been working diligently on getting everybody all these videos about his product. Yes.
Yeah.
Diligently.
Very diligently and very hard on.
He's working very hard on erecting this set.
Yeah, so here's your chance to get on the ground floor with that and grow with the channel and see all this is an amazing build that's happening, plus so much more. And it's not just about selling products, it's about getting into the 3D printing community and a lot of dioramas in the toy collecting world too. So
and Tashi Station Emporium is going to be at the Robo Toy Fest this weekend. That is June, what is it? June 9th?
Yeah, this
June
Sunday.
9th in the Burbank. So Burbank at the Robo Toy Fest. It's going to be Sarlacc Digest will be there. I'll be there. Darth Moocher will be there with Tashi Station Emporium, showing some incredible work that he's working on right now. It's this is making it very hard to watch. Yes, indeed. But the Robo Toy Fest, I'll put the link to that in the chat.
Awesome.
Whenever everything's done.
Yeah. So I'm debuting something. It's an amazing product, which will start making its rounds. And like I said, get on the YouTube. I'm just, like I said, trying to grow that channel because it's going to be another avenue of all your toy collecting and 3D printing stuff. So thank you everybody else for supporting that. I really do appreciate that. You can also find the Art of Scott Solo on Instagram and Facebook and here in the Sarlacc Digest too. And of course, our own Grand Admiral Franz, which my mom still says is our favorite podcaster. So
that's so sad. That is so sad.
It's just, I know. I can't get away from that. And of course, we'll wave hi to Joey. Joey is on work hiatus, or not hiatus, but work is taking over his podcasting duties. And you got Ernie the Fallen Fett. Follow him at the Fallen Fett Chronicles every Wednesday before Sarlacc Digest, and then come over here and geek out with us.
Let's get up to 500 subs.
Yeah, so 501's coming in. Let's go.
It's 501st.
So
nice.
Again, Monday we are dropping a live toy show. That's gonna be 5:30 Pacific time on this channel. Like and subscribe, favorite if you haven't. Hit that bell notification because we're gonna drop and talk about the new HasLab that's gonna be announced this Friday. We're gonna go in depth on it and see if it's good or not. We're going to either bash it or love it. We'll see what's going on. So please join us on Mondays for that. And any other toy news. So with that, I think we're all done. We're good.
I think that's it. I think so.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody in the pit. You guys are amazing. And so, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody. Woohoo!
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.